You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today on our Weight Loss Wednesday, we're going to get into a subject that I like to talk about, and that's based around the idea that success leaves clues. And so what I mean is this, is that a lot of people, no matter what their goal is, in the past they've experienced a little bit of success in that area. But the problem is the success doesn't stick or it doesn't last for whatever reason. However, there have been inklings that you can be successful if you start to follow a specific plan. The problem is we don't always look at the plan that we're following. We don't always understand that it is the consistent actions we take on a daily basis that get us the results we're looking for. I also spoke about this on Monday in length, and I would love for you to tune back into the episode if you haven't. That's episode 240. And what I talked about is that our actions, the sum of our parts, is actually what creates our success. So a lot of people want success in a certain area, whether it be finance or family or relationships or whatever it is, but they're not giving it enough of their attention. And not only are they not giving enough of their attention, they're not consistent in their actions. And when you're not consistent in your actions, you're going to get inconsistent results. So let's talk about today. That if you're really focused on losing 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 100 pounds, what you need to do. And it is going to differ per person, but here's what I can tell you is this, is that again, in the past, most people have experienced a little bit of success. So when I sit across from someone in my Boston practice and someone's talking to me about their weight loss based issues. Now keep in mind, I don't see people specifically for weight loss usually until they've gone through whether it's working with my personal training and nutrition team, because a lot of times we can take care of so much just with the fundamentals of what I teach, what I work with, and get it into a solid exercise program. Not a machine circuit where you're just going to machine or you're doing a group exercise class or you're doing a boot camp. No, true scientifically proven metabolic-based exercise and a nutrition plan, a lot about what I talk about right here on the podcast. But if you're still having issues, and maybe it is still 1 out of 100, but I work with the hardest of the hard cases. And those people, obviously, they can't eat less, they can't exercise more. So we say, okay, let's talk about it. What has worked for you in the past? Well, then they say, well, this did work. A couple of years ago, this did work, and then it stopped. And I'll often ask, why did it stop? So we start to learn a little bit about what their body will react to. And here's actually the important part, because a lot of people know what will work for them, but they don't know how to implement it correctly, and they don't know what they should be doing, right? But then there's even one more piece to that, is that what works for you in the beginning isn't necessarily going to be what works for you forever. And that's the important thing I also want to touch on today, is that some people know that if they cut out a lot of the dairy and they cut out a lot of the gluten, a lot of the starches, and they stick to a really good plant-based nutrition diet plan, that they're going to lose weight. But the problem is they can't maintain that. So maybe they can do it for a few weeks, maybe they can do it for a few months, and they're going to lose 10, 20 pounds. But the problem is they can't eat like that for the rest of their life. And I completely understand that. But what I can tell you is this, is that if you're following a very good whole food-based nutrition plan, you're doing your morning smoothie like I recommend, or if you're not doing morning smoothie, at least mid-afternoon to get all that good nutrition into your body. Because remember, a lot of times people's bodies are crying out for more nutrition. They're eating plenty of food, they're eating plenty of calories, but what they're missing are the micronutrients, not the macronutrients. The macronutrients are calories, it's protein, carbs, and fat. That's the staple. But what they're missing are those micronutrients, the potassium, the magnesium, the sodium, the calcium. They're missing their B vitamins, they're missing their vitamin E, their vitamin C, their vitamin D. If their body doesn't have those in great enough quantity, it's not going to be able to perform its natural functions. That's just the way it is. That's science. Your body needs these specific things for it to work correctly. We know what they are only when they come about when there's a disease-based state, whether it's something like anemia, or again, that's when it's most pronounced, but it can be in many, many different areas as well. So your body needs that nutrition, but let's say you're doing that. So what we have to look at is this. What we need to do is get your body jump-started. So I like to say, go back to what you know works for you as long as it's healthy. Remember, it has to be healthy. And this is a really important thing because we can starve our bodies. And yes, they may lose weight, but what happens then is it hurts our metabolism for the long run. So we're going to look at that. But I also want you to look at this. I want to look at what didn't work for you. So a lot of people right now are continuing to push their bodies in ways that are not natural, things like really hard boot camp workouts or really hard spinning workouts. I'm a big fan of spinning. I'm a big fan of exercise. I'm a big fan of working out. But what I'm not a big fan of is really punishing the body when the body's already exhausted, it's already tired, it's already beat up, and you're just beating it up even more. And that's only causing more stress, which is going to put you in more of a survival mode, which is not going to allow your body to lose weight, which is why when I put people on a good nutrition plan, something like our fat velocity, something like our detox, something like that, and they don't even have to exercise. They can just walk for their 10,000 steps per day. They lose weight just doing that. Why? Because they give their body a rest, and the body a lot of times needs a rest. Now, it can still do exercise. You can't just destroy your body. That's what I keep getting at. But what I want to get back to and jump back to, you have to look at what doesn't work. And so if you're doing something right now, and you're saying to yourself, well, I'm just not doing enough of it, that's most likely not the correct answer. Meaning, if you have to force the situation, it's most likely not working. Meaning, like, if you're down to 100 carbohydrates per day, and you say, you know what, I really have to get down to 50, it's probably not the answer. Once you get down to 100 grams of carbohydrates per day, you're going to know if it's going to work for you. Taking it down even more may not be the best thing for your body because it's going to go then into more of a survival-based state. So what you have to look at then is, well, what's the quality of your carbohydrates? That's very important. What does your exercise look like in general? Is your body swollen? Is it puffy? Do you have digestive-based issues? Look at those things as well. So I'm going to try to sum things up for you right now, make it a lot easier to implement, is this. Think back right now to a time in your life where you have been successful at keeping the weight off, or at least losing it for at least a month's worth of time. Was it on the lower starch side? Was it on the lower fat side? Was it not eating breakfast and going till lunch? Was it doing a smoothie in the morning instead of whole food meals? Was it cutting out chocolate at night? Was it cutting out ice cream at night? Was it going for 3 weeks and then allowing yourself that one cheat meal per week? Or do you do pretty well, but you can only really have one cheat meal on the weekend? If not, you really start to see the weight creep up. Find out what it is, what worked for you. Get moving. I like to get that ball rolling. Once I get those results, then this is what I do. All right, I know the success triggers. I know it's going to work. What I then try to say is, well, what do we want most in your life? Meaning, like, if you're doing no cheat meals, of course, you probably want one. So, okay, let's do one. Yes, you may gain weight the next day after 48 hours, and then it comes off. Okay, so the one cheat meal per week works. Now, what if we add in two, and not consecutive days? What if we do a Thursday and a Saturday? Do you keep the weight off and maintain, or do you continue to lose? So there's a difference, right? If you've hit your goal weight, then great, you're just maintaining. Yes, you may gain a weight for those next couple days because of the cheat meal, the inflammation, but then it dies back down by the next Friday or next Thursday, and you're all set. You're good to go. But what if that causes you just to keep maintaining your goal is still weight loss? Well, those 2 cheat meals per week don't work. We found that out, but one does. So then you have to say, prioritize what is more important, the 2 cheat meals per week? Or can I still go out, can I still have fun and have 1 cheat meal per week? And I want to keep losing the weight. So that's a different story, a different discussion. But the first thing is, do realize what works for your body, what works for you, and then start to then add back in what you would like more of. Because remember, what I said, what works in the beginning may not work for you forever. So eventually you may need to add back in some fruit, meaning start with berries first. Do that in the morning in the smoothie, or then just do that mid-afternoon as a snack. And then after that, you say, okay, I'd really like to have some starches. Okay, we'll start to add back in those sweet potatoes or yams or parsnips and beets and things like that, the root-based vegetables, and do those at lunch first. Does that work? So remember, it's a gradual process, a gradual building up. But I'm telling you, if you do this and you do it correctly, you only have to do it once. And that's what I'm big on. And the reason I say that is this, is that let's not spend our whole lives struggling with issues that we want to overcome. Let's dedicate a certain period of time. Let's dedicate 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or maybe even 12 weeks. I'm telling you, in my practice, I don't see anyone that really needs more than 12 weeks. I honestly don't. It's less than 1%. And I can't even say it's that. It's less than 1% if you don't have your head in the game, meaning like if you're not fully committed to it. That's what's really important, because so much changes over the course of 3 months. So much changes over the course of 12 weeks, which is about 90 days. Tremendous things happen in the body. And then if you can get there to that 120, we've already shown that all of your red blood cells really have turned over. The body's really regenerated. So much of it is new. They've said that over 6,000 years ago in Ayurvedic medicine, and they say it now today in the best of state-of-the-art modern medicine. So please do try to tune into a little bit of what I said today. Implement, just even thinking back, okay, what works for me? And then knowing that you know it's not going to work for you forever because for whatever reason you've given up before in the past. Then think about, okay, that's what works in the beginning. Then what's my transition? And then what's my eventual goal? That, I'm telling you, if you look at it that way, you know it's not overwhelming. You know it's not forever. It's a certain period of time that's going to move you towards your goals. And that's what I want for you. I ultimately want you to achieve the life that you're looking for. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of The Cabral Concept.
Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.